Hey everybody, I'm DJ Sixsmith. Welcome to Sit Down. Today we are talking to Darryl Rivera, brand new CBSN documentary. It is called Ghostlight, Year Broadway Went Dark. Darryl, really nice to meet you. How are you?
Nice to meet you too. I'm doing very well. Coming to you from 42nd Street here in New York City.
We are very happy to hear that. Broadway is officially back. Aladin is coming back a little bit later on this month. First and foremost, how are you just feeling about Broadway being back and actually rehearsing and getting it going again?
Well, let me start by saying last night was actually the opening of The Lion King, and I got to be in the audience, and it was incredibly magical. The energy coming from New York City, like the people just sitting in the audience, like Care Bear staring right onto the audience was incredible. So I am just over the moon. I'm thrilled for me, my friends, my family, to be able to bring Broadway back to the people and bring theater back to New York City. It's really exciting.
It was a really rough time previously during the pandemic, not only for the city, but specifically for Broadway. And I think the great thing about this documentary is folks will see people like you, they'll see people who are composers, they'll see people behind the scenes who work at the bars, just everybody that was impacted by the shutdown of Broadway. So what was it like to be a part of the documentary?
It was incredible. I mean, okay, so it's a small world, as they say at Disney, because I actually pivoted into real estate, and you'll see that in the documentary. And I specialize in New Jersey. That's where I live. And actually, one of the producers bought one of our listings from my team. And so when they said they were looking for someone for a documentary, and they wanted to talk to me. I was like, oh, like we have literally like so many things in common, and like we can just talk. And it was cool to connect with someone in my community that way, not only through just real estate, but also through Broadway.
It's a dream of people like you to be on Broadway, and to not have it must have been such a huge gaping hole in your life. So what were the most difficult parts of the last year and a half? Because you were able to work and do real estate, but it's not what you're looking to do. So what were some of the struggles there?
So I'll say that I'm the original Iago in Disney's Aladdin. So I've been with the show since 2014, since we opened on Broadway. Before then, actually, I did the Toronto out of town tryout. And even before then, I did the pilot production of Aladdin in 2011. So this show has been a huge part of my life for a very long time. And to not have it, I like to say I'm a unicorn living in New York, having a Broadway job, because I didn't have to re-audition for the show. Like, they brought me along. So literally my life here on the East Coast has only revolved around the show. So when we shut down, it was devastating. You know, I have a 5-year-old at home. My wife also works on Broadway. And so like we weren't used to putting our daughter to sleep at night, right? The babysitter would come and like tuck her in on weeknights and weekend nights, and all of a sudden we had these silver linings, which was great. But the struggles were real. Like, you know, I'm in a comedy. I love making people laugh. I love hearing that sound of applause and laughter, and to not be able to do that after performing the show 2,503 times on Broadway, like it was a really strange adjustment. But you know, having family and having time with family, that was truly a blessing during this quarantine.
You mentioned the real life scenario here. You have a kid at home, both of you work on Broadway. The financial picture becomes a bigger question mark there. So what do you want folks to know specifically about that time, and not only for you and your family, but for a lot of different families just trying to make it through?
What was really hard at first was I was counting the days that I was not in the show, that I was not on stage. And at a certain point, I started to reframe it. And I said, you know what? I have this hope, and I would need to look forward to something. And for anyone who's going through a hard time or through a bad time, you know, looking back is really hard not to do, right? Because you want to look for the better times. But if you're able to reframe and focus into, you know, your dreams, your goals, and something that you want to happen again, it can really help. And it really helped me and my family to be able to focus on, okay, we know that this industry can come back, and we hope that it will. And we just have to trust that everyone's doing everything that they can to help you know, the thousands of people that rely on Broadway for their livelihood.
And one of the things the doc mentions is just how much New York City relies on Broadway from an economic standpoint, from the restaurants and all the different people working. And Now we get to tap into that again. So I think like so many other parts of our lives, we appreciate little things more now. What are some of the things that you appreciate more being back with everybody and rehearsing for Aladin?
Well, there's the takeout food, which I'm a very good cook, but being able to like patronize the local restaurants around the theater and around the rehearsal halls has been awesome. Actually, one of my castmates said he went to a restaurant and the cashier was like, "Oh, you work at Aladin, right?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, how'd you know that?" He's like, "Are you guys back?" And he's like, "Yeah." He's like, "We're glad you're back." And to know that like the local businesses are happy to see us again, and we're so happy to see them and patronize their businesses, like it really is like it's a small world that like we help support each other.
So you were in the crowd for Lion King. Have you allowed yourself to imagine what it's going to be like when you get to take the stage again for Aladin?
Yes, 100%. When the curtain call happened, okay, first of all, Circle of Life, beautiful. I was like sobbing from my chair. But when the curtain call happened and I just was able to see the beautiful actors and their hearts just like accept the love that was happening in the room, it became so real for me. It gave me so much hope. And I looked around me and I heard the rapturous applause. And I was like, we're in a room of like literally a full capacity theater. People want to see Broadway and we are so hungry to give it to them. So that relationship of like having the audiences and being able to like tell stories again, it made the hope like 1,000% real.
Well, Darryl, you've been through many different chapters with Aladin. We'll just have to add a big one here in the return as well. Thank you so much for the time. Go Slate, The Year Broadway Went Dark, streaming on CBSN September 16th. Really nice to meet you, man. Thanks so much for the time and best of luck with everything.
Thank you so much.